Hey, so while I was doing my last video on medicated birth versus unmedicated birth video, I was thinking about my experience at the hospital that I birthed Isabella and how horrible it was, and I just wanted to share with you how horrible my experience was at that hospital. Like, I'm not even joking. First, when I got there, I told them that I was there for an induction, and they told me that maybe I wasn't even going to stay, and I told them, no, you absolutely have to let me stay because my daughter is IUGR. She needs to be induced today. And they told me, well, I don't know. So then they came back and they told me that first they had the wrong chart. So they didn't even have my chart. They had somebody else's chart. So they were like, I'm so sorry, we had the wrong chart. We're definitely going to keep you in today. So that was the first mistake that happened. The second thing that happened was there was no rooms. Like, they were supposed to be, notified that I was going to come in, but they definitely did not have any rooms. So what happened was they ended up making a room towards the back of the maternity ward, well, labor and delivery or whatever you want to call it, and they didn't have any beds or anything like that, so I had to be on a stretcher. So it was like those beds that the ambulances have. That's exactly what I labored in. Okay, I'm not even joking, my back was killing me. So I kept telling them, like, listen, I really need a bed because my back is like in so much pain. And they're like, no, 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 we'll get one as soon as we can, whatever. So third thing that happened was my epidural failed. I kept telling them that I could feel everything. They did not want to believe me. They didn't want to give me any more. So I had to labor in pain, literally, the rest of my labor. Like, it was so painful. Um, what else did they do? Okay, so when I had to start pushing, I was pushing and pushing and pushing, and Isabella ripped me really bad. And I'm not sure if they ripped me too, but I know Isabella ripped me pretty bad, and I had like a hemorrhage. I was like bleeding also from the stitches or whatever. I was bleeding a lot, and they had a doctor, or I guess she was a resident, I'm not sure. She was like stitching me up down there, and mind you, I could feel everything. And then the head doctor, I guess, comes in and she's like, you're doing it all wrong, you're using the wrong needle. So they had to remove all the stitches that she had started with, and they had to redo them. So can you imagine how much pain I was in my hoo-ha? Yeah, it was pretty bad. So after I was stitched up and everything like that, the other thing that they did not do was clean me. They didn't clean my sheets, they didn't clean under me, they didn't clean anything. So the next morning, we had a nurse come in. Mind you, I didn't go to labor and deliver. I mean, I didn't go to the maternity floor, like, where mothers go after they have their babies. I actually had to stay in labor and delivery during the night because of my hemorrhage. So they wanted to like monitor me and stuff, just in case I had to hemorrhage again. So I was in the labor delivery area all night. In the morning, the nurse came in and she was like, "Oh my God!" And I was like, "What happened?" She was like, "They didn't clean the room yesterday," and I was like, "No, why?" She was like, "There's blood all over the floor. There is clots all over the floor. This is like seriously crazy." Then she called like everybody else to come in my room and look at it, and they're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this." So finally they cleaned their room. I didn't see it because I didn't want to see any more blood. I was like traumatized. So then when they when she came to like get me up so I could finally like get changed and put a pad on and stuff like that, when she took off my sheets, there was so much blood on my bed, like under me. She was scared. She was like, "Oh my God, is this from now?" And I was like, "No, this is from yesterday. They didn't clean me." And she's like, "Wow, like this is terrible." Like, you have no clue. So whatever, finally they cleaned me up, but a lot they had me walking up and down the hallway, stuff like that. So then we went on to our room. Now, I didn't know this, right, from when I was at the hospital, but I believe this is another mistake that they did, and it wasn't just the hospital, it was the nurses. Okay, when I had Isaac, I was in the, I guess, maternity floor, and they were like, when they press on your stomach after you have a baby, just so they could feel on the uterus and just pull down and make sure that you're not hemorrhaging every time they do that? Alright, so let me see if I can show you an example. Sorry, I'm wearing my PJs. Alright, so they pretty much push like this, right? Like in, right? And it kind of is uncomfortable, right? Because it makes you want to jump. Right, so can you imagine like this really hard? Alright, so when I had Isabella at the hospital, all they did was like this. Like, I'm not even joking. It didn't hurt, nothing. They just felt it like that. Like, it wasn't bad at all. And with Isaac, when I went to the hospital, I kept telling them, like, oh my god, are you going to touch my stomach again? Because literally, it kind of hurt a little bit, you know, the pressure. So I noticed in the other hospital, they didn't do it right. And when I went home, I had a lot of blood clots. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, there was one that was the size of like this. And with with Isaac, I had no blood clots at all. Like, everything was good, nice, da-da. So I think that was another mistake that they did. They didn't do the postpartum, I guess, uterus checks really good. Even better. Okay, so Isabella had an ear test done at the hospital. So whatever, when we went to get our discharge papers, everything was there. She was like, listen, these are all your papers, blah, blah, blah. So for Isabella's first doctor's appointment, which was like, I believe like 3 days after she went home, we went to the doctor and they gave him all the paperwork and they go, I'm sorry, ma'am, but this ear test is from another baby. And I was like, wait, what? And then she was like, yeah, this ear test was from another child. It's not your child's name on here. It was like, I'm not even joking, it was a baby named like Shaniqua. I still have the papers over there if you don't believe me. Like, he was named Shaniqua. And I was like, are you serious? Like, let's not even go there, whatever. So those were all the mistakes that happened while I was having Isabella at the hospital. Now, you can imagine I was pretty traumatized having my second child. But like I said, my labor and delivery with Isaac went perfect. Like, I have nothing to complain. Everything about it was amazing. So, yeah. Thank you so much for watching.